Hello Wolfpack, Lonewulfrick here with another video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some Bronze Age comics from the 1970s. I pulled these comics out of my Wolf warehouse, and there are 12 comics that I'll be listing into my eBay store this evening and tomorrow. All these comics are from the 1970s, and let's take a look. Let's get started. First comic up, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 185 with a 35-cent cover price on it. And the comic features Peter Parker's finally graduating from college. Nice looking comic with a Ross Andru cover on it. And Ross Andru inside art also. Comic was published by Marvel Comics, October of 1978. The next comic that we have is Avengers King Size Annual number 9. Published in 1979 by Marvel Comics. Comic has that roll call type of feature they used to show in the old Silver Age Justice League. You know, where it would show all the characters on the roll call. It's like on the left or right hand side of the comic. This story was written by Bill Mantlo and had Don Newton artwork in it. The next comic is Doctor Strange number 3, 25-cent cover price. And it looks like he's back from the dead. Yes, it's the dreaded Dormammu, back from the dead. Comic was published by Marvel Comics in September of 1974. And it's kind of a double-edged sword comic, because it has Frank Bruner artwork at the very beginning of the book. But as we get into the story, we're going to see it actually has some reprint art from Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. It's an actually reprint story. It's all the way through, and then it'll have like an original couple of pages at the end of it. It's like to continue or finish up on the story. Anyway, Doctor Strange number 3. The next comic is Doctor Strange number 31, co-starring the Savage Submariner. This one's a 35-cent cover price. Published by Marvel Comics, October of 1978. Next up on the list is Iron Man number 105, a 35-cent cover price. Features a guest appearance of Jack of Hearts. This was published by Marvel Comics in December of 1977. Next up is Marvel Premiere number 7, featuring Doctor Strange. This comic has a Mike Plug cover art on it. Mike Plug was like he was the king of horror comics in the 70s, at least as far as I was concerned when I was a kid. It seemed like I know he did like Werewolf by Night, and he did a lot of other stories. It's like the thing that were of the horror genre. Published by Marvel Comics in March of 1973, and the interior art by Craig Russell. It's the same Craig Russell. I guess it's like he had to buy the P. It's like to get to the middle initial. But during 1973, it was just known as Craig Russell. Really nice artwork. I like Craig Russell's art a lot. Next up on the list is Marvel Premiere number 8. The interior artwork is actually done by Jim Starlin. For all of you completists out there that have, that look to complete a certain artist or whatever, it's like of all the work, Jim Starlin did the artwork on this actual comic that's published by Marvel in May of 1973. And the writer of this particular comic was Gardner F. Fox, as most of you probably realize or recognize his name, as he was a very prominent Silver Age writer for DC Comics back in the 60s. Next up is Marvel Premiere number 11. Looks like it's featuring Baron Mordo. Baron Mordo, it's like the arch nemesis of Doctor Strange. As you can tell, it's like the thing, as you see, it's like up there, it says Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. The introduction and conclusion was actually drawn by Frank Bruner, another great Doctor Strange artist, Frank Bruner was. Published by Marvel Comics in October of 1973. Now, the reason why it has Steve Ditko and Stan Lee's name on it, if you look, it's actually, except for the first couple of pages and the last couple of pages, it's a reprint story of the origin of Doctor Strange. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this origin took place in Strange Tales number 115. So if you're looking for a little bit more reasonably priced origin of Doctor Strange, this is actually the comic to get, Marvel Premiere number 11. Next up is Marvel Premiere number 14, featuring Doctor Strange. The interior artwork is done by Frank Bruner. And published by Marvel Comics in March of 1974. This is actually the last issue of Marvel Premiere that Doctor Strange appeared in. As he appears, his next issue is actually Doctor Strange number 1 in 1974. The next issue of Marvel Premiere, which is Marvel Premiere number 15, featured the first appearance of Iron Fist. Next comic on our list is Marvel Presents number 7, The Guardians of the Galaxy. A 30-cent Marvel cover price. This roster of the Guardians is a little bit different than what most people know from the movies, but it's still a nice early tale of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Published by Marvel Comics in November of 1976. Next up is Thor number 154. Nice 30-cent cover price. Says it's the origin of Thor's alter ego, Don Blake. So that should be a clue right there that this story is actually a reprint story also. And they're blaming it on the dreaded Deadline Doom. But it features the great Jack Kirby artwork with a Stan Lee story. This comic is published by Marvel Comics in December of 1976. And I believe this story actually took place in Thor number 158, if I'm not mistaken. The original story, anyway, was published then. That would have been in 1968. And then the last comic on our list of the 12 I'm showing today is Thor number 261. Another 30-cent cover price. Published by Marvel Comics in July of 1977. The interior. And for all you completists out there that want to complete like Walt Simonson's Thor, here's the one that's like that he actually did the artwork in 1977. So a few years before he created Better Ray Bill and that whole storyline, Walt Simonson actually did the story, or the artwork on Thor issues that's like back in the 70s. All right, so there you have it. That's 12 Bronze Age issues from the 70s that I'm going to be putting into my eBay store, RLI Enterprises. And hopefully you'll stop by there and take a look at them. Please subscribe to my channel, if you would, my YouTube channel. It'll help me out a lot, and it kind of keeps you in the loop. It's like of upcoming comics that I'll be putting in my store, or new arrivals that I actually get that I'll be showcasing. And I'll also showcase like silver coins that I receive. A lot of Silver Age comics and everything. So take a look. It's like look at my other videos that I have up. And like I said, please subscribe. That would help me out a lot. And I'm going to list on Saturday evening. I will put a list up of Silver and Bronze Age comics for that period that I'll be listing on Sunday. Usually Sunday's the day that I spend all day listing comics. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me tonight. And take care of yourselves. God bless. Bye-bye.